This is Headline News with Pistol from Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the world. Brought to you by Philadonian TV, sponsored by JoJoMacMusic.com. Hello everyone, I am Pistol, and this is your Headline News. Guyana recently launched the first auction for the development of new oil blocks under competitive terms with the government, maintaining that it's looking towards the expeditious development of oil and gas resources. President Dr. Irfan Ali said 14 offshore oil blocks are up for auction and that the government is hoping to award new contracts by the end of May next year. Submissions of bids will close on April 14th, 2023. Ali said in a Facebook Live post, "This, of course, will follow negotiations and evaluation of the bids that we received during this bidding round. The bidders would have to pay a US $20,000 participation fee that would also allow access to a virtual data room." Ali said Guyana's offshore basin has captivated the attention of the global oil market participants, being called the world's fastest growing super basin, with estimated resources in excess of 25 billion barrels of oil equivalent and an estimated reserve in excess of 11 billion. Delegates attending the inaugural United Nations Permanent Forum on People of African Descent in Geneva have supported the Caribbean Community CARICOM 10-point reparation plan, calling for its adoption globally. Bahamian Gaynell Diane Curry, one of the 5 experts appointed earlier this year to serve on the United Nations Permanent Forum on People of African Descent, outlined the priorities of CARICOM, including reparatory justice, climate justice, systemic racism, and socio-economic opportunities faced by vulnerable and marginalized groups of people of African descent, especially women, children, and migrants, and LGBTQI persons. Barbados Ambassador and Permanent Representative Designate to the United Nations and the World Trade Organization, Matthew Wilson, said, quote, "What we have collectively launched today is for our ancestors and for our descendants still to come." Time magazine has named Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky its Person of the Year, awarding him the accolade for proving that courage can be as contagious as fear. Editor-in-Chief Edward Felsenthal said the choice of Zelensky alongside the spirit of Ukraine was the most clear-cut in memory. Whether the Battle of Ukraine fills one with hope or with fear, the world marched to Vladimir Zelensky's beat in 2022. A comedian turned politician who was elected to lead Ukraine in 2019, Zelensky has worked ceaselessly since Russia's invasion on February 24th to inspire his country's resistance and marshal international support for Ukraine. Felsenthal said Zelensky's decision when the war started not to flee Kiev but to stay and rally support was fateful. A New Zealand court temporarily took away medical custody of a baby from his parents after they refused blood transfusions for him unless the blood came from donors who were unvaccinated against COVID-19. The court's ruling in favor of health authorities, placing the 4-month-old boy into the guardianship of authorities until after he undergoes an urgently needed heart operation and recovers. The parents remain in charge of decisions about their boy that does not relate to the operation. The parents' legal battle has been embraced by anti-vaccine groups who gathered outside the courtroom as evidence was presented. The Taliban authorities have executed an Afghan convicted of killing another man, the first public execution since a former insurgents took over Afghanistan last year, a spokesman said. The announcement underscored the intentions by Afghanistan's new rulers to continue hardline policies implemented since they took over the country in August 2021 and to stick to their interpretation of Islamic law. The execution took place in Western Farah province before hundreds of spectators and many top Taliban officials. China rolled back rules on isolating people with COVID-19 and dropped virus test requirements for some public places in a dramatic change to a strategy that confined millions of people to their homes and sparked protests and demands for President Xi Jinping to resign. The move adds to earlier easing that fueled hopes Beijing was scrapping its zero-COVID strategy, which is disrupting manufacturing and global trade. Experts warn, however, that restrictions can't be lifted completely because millions of elderly people still must be vaccinated. I am Pistol, and that was your Headline News. That was Headline News with Pistol from Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the world. Brought to you by Philadonian TV, sponsored by JoJoMacMusic.com.
Let me sing.